The Cecil and Elisa Lam, a mystery that lingered. Los Angeles is a city that swallows people whole. It takes in dreamers, wanderers, artists, and seekers. And sometimes, in the noise and sprawl of it all, someone slips through the cracks in a way the world never fully understands. In January of 2013, a 21-year-old student from Vancouver stepped off a bus in downtown Los Angeles, checked into a hotel, and vanished into one of the strangest, most haunting disappearances of the modern era. Her name was Elisa Lam, and the questions her story left behind have never been fully answered. Elisa was, by most accounts, a bright and thoughtful young woman. She studied at the University of British Columbia, kept an active Tumblr blog where she posted about books, travel, and the quiet observations of daily life. She was curious about the world, the kind of person who wrote her thoughts down not for an audience, but because the act of putting words to experience felt meaningful. She had a warmth to her writing, a sense of humor, a genuine love of discovery. She was, in short, a real person, complicated, layered, full of plans. In late January 2013, she was traveling solo along the American West Coast. It was a solo trip, perhaps a break from the rhythms of student life, perhaps an adventure she had long imagined. She had already passed through San Diego and was making her way through Los Angeles. She checked in to the Cecil Hotel on South Main Street, a place with a long and complicated history in the heart of Skid Row. The hotel had seen better decades. Originally built in the 1920s, it had once been a place of some elegance, but by 2013, it occupied a strange middle ground, part budget travel hostel, part relic of a different Los Angeles. Elisa had reserved a bed in one of its shared rooms. By February 1st, 2013, she had not checked out, she had not contacted her family. Her parents, growing increasingly alarmed, reported her missing to the Los Angeles Police Department. Investigators began looking into her movements, reviewing the hotel's security camera footage, and then they found something that would soon captivate the entire world. The footage was grainy, time-stamped, and silent, the kind of video that feels like it belongs to a dream rather than a hallway. The Cecil Hotel's elevator security camera had captured Elisa on the night she was last seen. In the footage, she enters the elevator and presses several floor buttons. She steps back out into the hallway, peers around the corner as if checking for something or someone. She steps back in. She moves her hands in wide, flowing gestures that seemed disconnected from any obvious purpose. She leans against the back wall, then moves toward the door again. The elevator, notably, does not move. Its doors remain open for an unusually long time. Eventually, she walks away down the hallway, and she does not return. That was the last confirmed image of Elisa Lam on any camera. The LAPD released this footage to the public in February, hoping someone might recognize her or provide a lead. Instead, it sparked something larger. The video spread across the internet at extraordinary speed. Millions of people watched it, rewatched it, analyzed it frame by frame. Forum threads stretching thousands of posts debated every detail. People slowed the footage down, enhanced individual frames, mapped the layout of the hallway against the hotel's blueprints. The internet had found a mystery, and it was not going to let go. Some viewers saw in the footage evidence of something paranormal. Her movements struck many as erratic in a way that felt inexplicable. Others raised more grounded questions. Had she been frightened of someone in the hallway? Was the elevator malfunctioning? Was she in some kind of medical episode? The theories multiplied. Some were sensational and unfounded. Others were simply people trying to make sense of something that genuinely did not add up on first viewing. Across social media, across Reddit threads, across YouTube channels just beginning to build audiences, the Elisa Lam case became a collective puzzle, one that no algorithm, no crowdsourced effort, no armchair detective could solve. Meanwhile, residents of the Cecil Hotel and the surrounding neighborhood had been noticing something troubling for weeks. The water from the hotel's taps had a strange taste. The pressure was odd. Guests had complained. On February 19, 2013, a hotel maintenance worker climbed to the roof to inspect the building's water storage tanks. The Cecil had several large cylindrical rooftop tanks that supplied water to the building below. When he opened one of the tanks, he found Elisa Lam. She had been there in the water for weeks. Her body was recovered, and the Los Angeles County Coroner's Office conducted a thorough investigation. The official cause of death was ruled accidental drowning. Toxicology results revealed the presence of medication she had been prescribed, drugs used to treat bipolar disorder, a condition she had been managing. The coroner noted that certain psychiatric medications, when levels in the body are not properly balanced, can cause disorientation, altered perception, and unusual behavior. This, investigators concluded, offered at least a partial explanation for what had been captured on the elevator camera. But the questions did not stop there. The rooftop tanks were in a restricted area of the building, accessible through a door that was said to be alarmed. The tanks themselves were tall. Climbing into one would have been physically difficult under ordinary circumstances. The hatch at the top of the tank was closed when the body was found. How had she come to be there? The coroner's report acknowledged the circumstances were difficult to fully reconstruct, but found no evidence of foul play, no signs of trauma, no indication that anyone else had been involved. Some questions were answered. Others remained, not because the answers were hidden, but because the full truth of a human life, especially lived privately and lost suddenly, rarely fits neatly into any single explanation. The theories that grew around the case were many and varied. Some believed the official explanation, trusting the coroner's findings and accepting that tragedy can unfold in ways that defy easy comprehension. Others remained skeptical, pointing to the logistical challenges of accessing the tanks, to the elevator's unusual behavior, to the apparently inexplicable nature of her movements in the footage. Some theories ventured into the supernatural. The hotel's troubled history made it an easy canvas for Gothic imagination. One particularly strange detail added an eerie footnote. Around the same time as Elisa's disappearance, a tuberculosis outbreak in the neighborhood near the Cecil was being tracked by health authorities. The test being used to detect the outbreak was called Lam Elisa, a coincidence of naming that many people found deeply unsettling, though it bore no actual connection to the case itself. Yet it became part of the mythology that surrounded her story, one of those strange real-world coincidences that in the age of the internet take on a life far beyond their significance. What is perhaps most important, and what often gets lost in the noise of theories and speculation, is that Elisa Lam was a person. She had parents who loved her, friends who knew her, a voice that still exists in the words she left behind on her blog. She wrote about literature and loneliness and the beauty of small moments. She was traveling because she wanted to see the world. Whatever the precise sequence of events that led to that rooftop on that night, the human reality of her life should not be reduced to a puzzle for the internet to solve, or a ghost story told for clicks. Her case has been the subject of documentaries, podcasts, and countless online investigations. It raised real questions about mental health and the systems in place, or not in place, to support people who are traveling alone, managing illness, and navigating difficult moments far from home. It also raised quieter questions about our collective impulse, in the age of viral content, to transform a person's final hours into entertainment. The Cecil Hotel itself has since been renovated and rebranded. The building that once housed the hotel is now a residential complex, its difficult history acknowledged, but gently set aside for a new beginning. The city moves on, as cities do. But for those who remember, for Elisa's family, for the many people who felt, in some small way, affected by her story, the questions linger like fog over a city that never quite sleeps. Some things cannot be fully explained. Some disappearances leave marks that no investigation, no coroner's report, no thread on the internet can entirely erase. Elisa Lam arrived in Los Angeles looking for something. What she found there and what found her may never be fully known, and perhaps that is the most honest thing that can be said.